I would like to thank you all and the Global Azure Bootcamp team who is making this happen, right? And Lizzie already talked about, provided a little bit of introduction, but let me add a couple of things, right? So my name is Ajay Kakal. I'm Microsoft Azure MVP, almost like more than 5 years now. Before that, I was Office Server and Services MVP, specifically in the Sky for Business work stream. Today, I'm going to talk about Azure digital twins. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about the word called digital twins. And as you will break down this word into the pieces, right, you will find the twins word basically is exactly replica kind of thing from your day-to-day life. And when we say it is digital twin, basically it means the replica is driven by the technology. And then recently, Microsoft has launched their product. It is GA now. I think the GA happened in December 2020, and it is called Azure Digital Twins. It is a kind of a platform I will talk about more in detail, right? But before I begin, right, I would like to make sure that you guys understand that what I'm going to cover in this session. So this session, if you have seen my note, right, is going to be little bit beyond your day-to-day technology stuff which you are doing in Microsoft Azure and any other cloud platform. It will provide you a little bit of insight how the things really work in the real business side of the world when we talk about any industry, either you call it FMCG, healthcare, retail, energy, right, or aviation, or any other industry, you can take the name, right? So I'm going to talk about some real-time use cases, and I will also cover real-time real world issues what the businesses are facing nowadays. And you can post your questions in the chat window in your stream, and I'll take the questions right at the end. And if anything is urgent, I think the team can inform me, and I will be happy to answer. So let me move to the next slide and talk about the agenda today. As I said, right, it's going to be more realistic scenarios, not only about the technology. It is going to be way beyond from the technology, right? And you can use it is just going to be kind of a brainstorming for you where you can start thinking from a different perspective altogether that how the technology is enabling the basically enabling the enterprises and solving the real world problems, helping people across the globe, right? And how can we achieve more through the technology if it is being used in a right way? So in the agenda, basically in the entire session in 1 hour, I'm going to cover what are the real world challenges. I will provide some of the industry examples. Then I will talk about what is digital twin before we talk about Azure digital twin, because Azure is just an enabler, right? But we should understand what the digital twin, from where it is coming, um, how it is being evolved. This is very new technology, I think, for most of the people, but I think some of the people might be working on this technology from last couple of years. Looking at the audience, because it is an open session for everyone, right? So I have kept this session at the level 100 to 200. But if anyone is interested into more deep dive, they can contact me, and we may plan something more for them, right, to have a deep dive session into this. And then I will talk about some of the industry use cases. I will definitely take one of the industry, right? And I think in this, if you have seen my LinkedIn post, I have taken agricultural as an industry, and try to try to develop a use case or solution architecture diagram that how can you use Azure Digital Twin in the agricultural space. Once we are clear about the Azure Digital Twin and how it can be used in the real world, I will talk about what is Azure Digital Twin is. It is still evolving. It is very new, and I can say something like if you are take this opportunity now and keep doing these stuffs over time, this is going to be a very high demanding area in the near future. And you will see many senior positions where uh, organizations will look for the senior executives or senior basically IT experts to solve their real business problem, using all the technologies like the IT and OT. IT OT means basically information technology and the operation technologies. Industry use cases, solution architecture with ADT. As I said, I will first describe the what is the industry use case. Then I will talk about the Azure digital twin, and then I will try to map that Azure digital twin with the industry use case. And then finally, I will talk about how can build your models using the DTDL. DTDL is nothing but digital twin definition language. And finally, as I'm not covering any demo in this session because it's like too much of information about the real industry and the use cases, but I will give you the enough resources and this step-by-step process. If you want to try it, right? Follow one of the case studies and follow the step-by-step process, and you will be basically able to see the overall value once you will try to implement it in your environment. With that, let me move to the next slide and let me go to and talk about a little bit of real world challenges. Right, I have just picked up a few industries and few use cases from there. So I think some examples. What I'm taking in this session is like how do we manage the asset when we are talking about factories, we are creating products and all. And the second, I'm going to talk about how can we do the proactive monitoring for example, any kind of wind the turbines in the energy industry. And another example I took fleet management and sustainment. So I'm not I'm not very specific about the example, but I'm just telling you that it can be implemented in any industry and in a different scenarios, right? So let me first talk about the asset management. And asset management is something is very important because if you talk about the any organization, any enterprise, you will find one thing is very clear that every organization will have asset. Either you talk about the IT organization or non-IT organizations, right? And when we talk about the asset management, right, and in asset you may have multiple things, but in this specific example, we are just going to talk about a factory example, right? If if an enterprise or an organization in manufacturing industry has multiple units, right, across different locations, and there are different works going on simultaneously, right? How can you use a digital twin there, right? So before we talk about the digital twin, let me tell you the challenges. I'm not sure if any one of you are coming from any one of these industries, but if you are coming and if you have a little bit of background, you may see that there are multiple activities happening in the manufacturing units. And if the once the activities are happening, how can you centralize see all this information in one place, right? That is a challenge because you will get the reporting from each unit, and each unit will have a multiple sub area of the entire manufacturing unit where everyone, for example, the person who is maintaining those machines providing reports to their leaders, and then it is going upwards, and then people are getting the full report. It is taking lots of time. But if you can get this data real time and you know how we are utilizing our each unit, and maybe the unit configuration could be same or the unit configuration could be different, and you may have machines from the different vendors. If you can simulate the entire environment and you can do the live monitoring, basically you will come to know that from which unit we are generating what level of uh, you know products, how efficient my each unit is. If anything is going to fail, then how can I go and book a slot with our supplier or vendor who can fix this issue, and we can do it in advance, so that any one of our unit, any one of our machine is not down for a longer period of time, which may hit the overall production on a daily basis, right? So these kind of challenges you will see, but if you get the digital view of it, you can try to solve it. Another example could be in the energy industry, right? If you are aware about it, that in the very remote areas, you will find there are lots of wind turbines have been installed, right? And the wind turbines works in a very different way, and there is definitely a maintenance required on time, on this specific time period. But based on the condition, can you perform the monitoring of your wind turbines to avoid any kind of failure? And this is a major challenge, because if the wind turbine fails, it is going to impact majority of the unit, right? And definitely the energy you're producing is going to impact that as well. But how can you do the real-time monitoring, and how can you do the proactive maintenance? This is the biggest challenge for the people who are working. Definitely there are lots of IoT things which have been, basically sensors have been installed on the devices, which can pass the data, either it is a sound or it is a vibration, right, or anything else. But or maybe the heat, those sensors are sending the data. But are you getting a complete view? The complete view is missing, because you can sense something different from the data which you are receiving from the IoT devices. And that is another challenge in the, I would say, wind turbine kind of things. Another industry example I took, that let's talk about the aviation. I think everyone of us have used the airplane, right? When you travel, you will on board, and you may see sometimes the flights are delayed, and if things are not well, I think it is being postponed, or many other things are happening. And sometimes you will also observe that when we are flying, you will say some kind of you know basically the disturbance when we are in transit, right? And maybe the pilot and the team will inform that, okay, there was some disturbance, someone will take it over and try to fix it out. And definitely they are doing the monitoring in the old manners, where they have lots of tools, lots of process in place. They are using the tools and process and trying to see what are the issues, we can figure it out before we take off for a specific plane. So this is happening for each plane which basically takes off from one place to another. So in the airlines industry, their operational availability also includes the MRO. Basically, the MRO in the aviation industry is maintain, repair, and the overall process. And how can we make sure that in the aerospace industry, spending on maintenance and repairs continues to increase, right? But it due to the old ways of doing stuff. But how can we improve this? And the only the improvement plan which you can figure it out based on if you can monitor it proactively, report it to the right people, and they can take the right actions to do the things. So I think these are the example I have given at very, very high level, right? But I hope it is giving you a little bit of, I would say, sense that these are some of the challenges that exist in the industry. And definitely enterprises have different kind of solutions to fix these problems. And some of the solutions are using latest and greatest technology. And some of the solutions are still relying on the old ways of doing things, depending on the people, right? Depending on the old mechanics, and the data what they are gathering to fix the issues and make sure all the businesses can deliver their best to their customers. Moving on to the next slide, let me now start with the digital twin, basically. And I think you have already got a sense that what is going to be the digital twin, right? So there is a digital twin consortium of the industry. So IT comes later. So IT came later. Basically, Microsoft and many other vendors came later, right? But this really evolved from the industries, various industries, right? And the definition, the link I have given for the digital twin consortium, you can go and read more from there, and who are the members of it, who are the partners of uh, in this consortium, right? You will find, for definitely Microsoft is one of the founding members of this consortium. A digital twin, in layman language, is a virtual representation of real world entities and processes synchronized at a specific frequency and fidelity. So basically, it is telling you that you may have a physical environment. Now, can you create a replica of that physical environment in a virtual world? And I have just used a picture where you can see, right, where you will find there are buildings, and buildings could be your commercial or the apartments or some other activities or offices. Many things are happening inside the buildings, right? How can you create the exact replica and the details which you require for your business, right, in the digital world? And that is what it is going to be. So the Microsoft definition, you may see the digital twin is a digital replica of real world things, places, business processes, and people. And if you look at the digital twin consortium, I think the three focus area for them is digital twin system transforms business by accelerating holistic understanding, optimal decision making, and effective action. So as I said in the previous slide, that you are still getting lots of data from the technology, from using the IoT devices, but the data is in silos. And how can you club it together? You can see the end-to-end view, that how the entire landscape or end-to-end environment is looking like. That is going to deliver the real value. Digital team uses real-time and historical data to present the past. Basically data to represent the past and the present and simulate the future issues as well. It can predict things, right? So now you can understand that there was an incident happen last year, and there could be some reasons, and we already have lots of data supporting why this particular thing happened. There will be a definitely a team would have done a root cause analysis. They would have enough data, but how can we use that data and feed into the system, and then we can ask the system, please inform us if the similar kind of situation is coming again or occurring again, right? So that this time we can take the proactive action and try to fix the issue before the problem occurs. And it can also predict the future. For example, based on the learning, based on the basically machine learning and the AI, it can predict, okay, these are the few steps are happening, and these steps may lead to this point, and you can take the actions, right? Digital twins are motivated by outcomes, tailored to use cases, powered by integrations, built on data, guided by domain knowledge, and implemented in IT/OT system. So I think you must have heard this word IT/OT. I was talking in the beginning. It is basically a mix of information technology and the operation technology. Operation technologies are basically which you use on the ground to perform your job, right? And information technology we are all are aware of. So it is a mix of two. And the digital twins, as I said, right, it is outcome driven. So what outcomes we want, we can define the models in the same way. We can tailor a use case. For example, I was talking about the wind turbine, or I was talking about the fleet management, and I was talking about the uh, asset management kind of things. So based on your use case, you can tailor it well. And then you need to integrate with the existing system, existing technology, existing data sources, what you have. And then you can start building your model. You will start exploring it through the graph, and then you will see the end-to-end picture, and you can predict the future. You can fix the current problems, and you can do more. You can achieve more value for your business, right? So I will take a pause here, right? And because this is a digital twin definition, I would say you take a note, go to the consortium website, look at this, that who are the founding members. So this is not only the IT companies, it's a mix of both IT and the non-IT. And there is a complete list. There are too many members. Most of the organizations are part of it, right? And who are the partners who are helping to enable these kind of technologies in the real world in a more simplest manner. And definitely Azure is one of them. Moving to the next slide. So, as I said, I've already covered some of the examples, the challenges, and then I talked about the digital twin definition from the digital twin consortium. Now, I want to take a specific use case because maybe when I was giving the example, you may not relay the end to end picture of the asset management, aviation, and anything else because you might not be having the enough industry knowledge in that space, right? I was just trying to keep it very, very basic. But now let me deep dive into one of the industry use case. As I said, I'm going to use organic farming and the organic dairy farming as one of the use case, which is part of the agricultural. So let me try to explain you how this entire ecosystem works when we talk about the organic farming, right? Before even we jump into the organic farming or the agricultural, right? We need to understand that food is a basic requirement for every living being, and we cannot live without it. Either it's a plant, animal, or us, right? Everyone needs the food, and it could be in different form. And when we look at this, right, in agriculture, there are certain parameters which we need to consider, such as the type of crops and the properties of the soil, climate, etc., to define uh, what kind of outcomes we can get from this particular ecosystem, right? So soil management. I'm just talking about this flow and the way it starts. Right, it starts from the soil management. So you cannot do the organic farming in each and every place. So you need the different level of soils and the capabilities what is going to have to give you the outcome. I'm sorry. So soil management is a key component in the entire agricultural industry. Then you will do the sowing, right? You will put the seeds and you will see how the outcomes based on the soil and based on the climate, based on the situation, based on the location. You will define what kind of crops I can have, and then you will start it from there, right? So let me take a step back here, right? So first, as I said, you will do the soil preparation, right? You will test it out. You will make sure what kind of crops it may have. Then you will find the right set of seeds. So before raising a crop, the soil in which it is to be grown is prepared by plowing, leveling, and manuring the overall farm, right? Plowing is the process of loosening and digging of soil using a plow. This helps in proper aeration of the soil. After plowing, the soil is distributed evenly and level in the process called you basically have make it level, right? It's a specific level which you need to start the sowing, and then you will manure it. So in the sowing, you will figure it out based on the climate, based on the different conditions, what kind of seeds you can put, which will give you the good quality crop strains, right? Then we will talk about the manuring. So once that is there, uh, your crop is ready, right? Crop needs lots of basically nutrients, right? And nutrients could be provided into the two forms. One is a normal fertilizers, right? And when we are talking about the organic farming, definitely we are not going to use them. What we are going to use, we are going to provide the natural manure, and manure is going to be the decomposition product of plant and animal waste. And you might have seen that when I'm going to talk about the organic dairy farming, the farm management will provide this. Basically, the dairy products and the dairy ecosystem will provide you this, right? And if you are using waste, basically the plants and animal waste, which is inorganic, basically for example, you are doing the dairy farming, you have cows, right? And the cows are eating basically they're feeding uh, their food which is inorganic, then their waste is also not going to be completely organic. So you need to build an entire ecosystem. So it should be end-to-end organic ecosystem which can deliver you the best results. So manure is the decomposition of plant and the animal waste, as I said, right? So you will use that apart from providing the nutrition to the crop. Manure also replenishes soil fertility as well. Basically, you can keep using the soil multiple times over a couple of years, right? And you will make sure it is still reusable. Then the next process is irrigation. In irrigation, you will basically is supplying of the water, enough water you can supply to your farm, so that it can give you the better result, right? And when you are doing that, you also need to make sure that over irrigation may lead to the waterlogging and damage the a crop completely. So you need to be very careful while you are doing this activity. And the frequency of interval as well, you need to figure it out. Then you will move into the next step, which is the weeding. Weeding is basically a process where you will remove the unwanted plants which basically grows generally amongst the crops, right? And once they are removed by using the different tools, or you are pulling them manually, then uh, you will reach out to the next stage over periods of over some time, because your crops have now grown and it is now a time to harvest, right? So once the crop is matured, it will be cut. It is cut and gathered together, and this process called harvesting. And once your harvesting is done, then the next process you will follow is that you will separate the grains and the chaff. And you will see the chaff is again going as a feed management process of the dairy management, where you will have your product basically producing the milks, right? And then once you store it, then you need to store everything. You need to find a right balance of the storage, right? And it should not be open space. It should have enough uh, sunlight, and specific temperature, humidity, etc., to make sure that uh, you can store these crops, and you can distribute. Then you need to work on the supply chain process. How are you going to distribute it? Are you going to distribute it directly to the retailers, or are you going to distribute it through the different channel partners, right? Based on the ecosystem where you are working with. Now, this is the about the organic farming. The next step you will see that organic dairy farming. So it is linked. Now we are talking about that the milk we are producing, and there's a huge demand, right? So there is a huge demand of from various countries, including India, where people are looking for the organic foods, and people are also ready to pay a huge amount. There is a startup in Bangalore which delivers the milk which is coming through the entire organic ecosystem. And there is an app where you can book and you can get it. It's startup, it is well funded. So many things are happening in this space, right? And there's a huge demand to it. So in the organic dairy farming, what you are going to do, first you need to do the animal husbandry, right? So that you have enough cows and ecosystem available. And then where they will live, you need to do the farm management, so that you can feed them the right kind of food, and you can provide the enough water and the chaff, right? And the even you should have a green land where they can go and feed themselves. Then you need to make sure their healthcare is also managed very well, because if they are not well, the milk is not going to be the same quality once they are good, right? And then you will focus on the milk production. Let me see if I can hide this. I'm- okay. And then you will do the milk production, and then you will start doing the processing of the milk. Basically, if you want to take the cream out, if you want to take some byproduct out, you will do all kind of processing. Or maybe you want to do the UHT processing, ultra high treatment, where you can pack it and the milk can stay almost 3 to 6 months of time. And then you will do all this kind of packaging, different kind of packaging, right? As you know. And then you will, at the end of the, you will do the distribution, and the distribution itself could be a use case in the digital twin. So you forget about everything. Only distribution of the milk products can be a unique use case for the entire digital twin ecosystem, because it requires a specific set of temperature. It requires, you need to freeze it, and you need to deliver it on time. It requires a specific set of humidity level, and so on and so forth, right? So if you will look at the supply chain of the distribution, you can make it as a use case which will be focused on the supply chain of milk. And as I said, constant monitoring and the quality management is the key. So I have tried tried to explain this use case, basically the industry use case of the organic farming in the basic and the layman terminology. And you may dig more into this, that how the entire ecosystem works. You can learn more, right? But this is about the industry use case. And if you have understood it well, I think I will take a pause, and before I jump into the technology side of the world and I try to replicate into the solution architecture, maybe you will be more interested into the real solution architecture world of the things, that how will it replicate in the Azure side of the world. Um, can I take any questions if we have in between till now, so that it provides the clarity to the team, and then we can move on to the IT part of it. Amal and team, do we have any questions? Because I'm not able to see the live stream as I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So if not, then let me take this no, basically no response as a no right now, and let me move on to the technology part of it. So I have spent almost half an hour just talking about the different use cases and the very basics of the digital twin. Let me talk about how really it is going to work in the technology side of the world. What is Azure Digital Twin, right? And this is a definition is coming from the Microsoft. Basically, where you can model any environment, you can connect the sensors and the business system to the model, to the specific model which you design in the technology ecosystem. You can control the present, track the past, and predict the future. So now it is going to be more interesting because we are going to talk about the technology only. So you can take any use case, and if you are using IT/OT technologies, you can try to connect everything with the business model, or entire system with a model, and you can keep taking the data and try to predict the future, and control the present, and track the past, right? What happened when. So Azure Digital Twin, in the Microsoft terminology definition, it is Azure Digital Twin is the Internet of Things platform that enables you to create a digital representation of real world things, places, business process, and people, as shown in the first or second slide. It also provides it will help you to gain insights that help you drive better products, optimize operations and cost, and create breakthrough customer experiences. So you can improve your overall product which you deliver to your customers. You can optimize your day-to-day operations, right? And you can develop many more new things for the breakthrough experience. So it is straightforward, and the way it looks like, you have DTDL, as I said in the agenda, right? Digital Twin Definition Language. So it is an open modeling language which is provided by the Microsoft to create the custom domain models of any connected environment using DTDL. Then you can do the live execution of the model using the live graph representation. So live execution environment to bring your digital twins to life in a live graph representation. Basically, what does it mean? Let me take another example. If everyone, I think everyone would have seen the motor for pumping the water, right? And if you want to replicate that model, that pumping motor into the digital world, you can see the entire ecosystem of that motor into the digital representation. And you can see, if for example you can have the sensors for the heating, you can have a sensor for the noise. So if the noise is changing, you will know something is going wrong or something may go wrong. If you will use the sensors for the heating, if the motor is heating too much, with the you know basically above and beyond the expected temperature, you can figure it out that okay, there is something wrong, and you can take the proactive action. So you can replicate everything in the entire ecosystem, and how fast the motor is running, what is the RPM, and what is the expected, and what is the right now. You can replicate everything into the graph, into the digital world, right? And then you can gather the input from the IoT and the business system to connect these assets. So if you have more than one motors, right, you can connect all these ecosystem, what you're producing out of it, using the Azure IoT Hub as Logic Apps, REST APIs, and many etc. things which I will talk about later. Then you can take the outputs of this data into the time series insights, and you can store this data, right? And you can perform the analytics using the event routes. Event routes could be your event grid, right? Um, or service bus or anything else, right? And then including basically Azure Synapse Analytics. The key benefits which you are going to get at the end of the day, once you have digital model there in the Azure environment, you can accelerate the time to value, you can deliver fast basically, simplify the creation of comprehensive digital model. So doing a design seems complex, but it is still not live. But once you're talking about the digital twin, you have the entire model, which is again live model, where you can see the actions, what are the things happening, and you can start tweaking the actions, and you can see how it can change the behavior of the entire ecosystem. Break down silos within connected environment. So as I said, maybe someone is managing the wind turbine, someone is managing the entire grid system. These things are happening in the silos. The person who is doing the maintenance of the grids will send the reports to their leaders, and then they will again send it or feed that data into another system. But here you can get end-to-end live model, right, of the entire connected environment. So you can basically break the silos. Moving on to the next. So this is the key section or the technology area where we have taken the use case of the agricultural, where we were talking about the organic farming and organic dairy farming. And it is just showing you the very high level representation or high level solution architecture diagram, which talks about that how the entire ecosystem is going to work out. So let me start from the left to right. So in the left hand side, you will see we are using some sensors. So sensors can be placed in the farm and uh, in the uh, in the packaging and the distribution unit. Basically, you can put the sensors each and every place, right? And you can even place the sensors where we are storing the cow dungs, right? Because again, if the dung is going to be in the very very good quality, it can produce a better result when you are doing the when you are basically raising the crops, right? Because it will be given to them. So first of all, that's the farm and the field resources. These are the operation technologies you have. You can put the sensors around it. It is connected to the IoT edge. And why we are putting the IoT edge? Because you can have a different multiple farms if you have a large organization, or if you have a large agricultural unit, and and if you're same thing you're doing with the dairy, right? So you can have a farm where your animals are staying and living, and you can have a production system unit separate. You can have another sensors, a specific set of sensors, and the IoT is there, and this is all connected to the IoT hub. And you will see that what IoT hub is doing, it is sending the data basically to the Azure streaming analytics, and to the time series insights. So it is giving the data into the two places. What is happening, that we are taking this data from the Azure streaming analytics to the Azure Digital Twin. Azure Digital Twin is, as I said, is a platform which you can create in the Microsoft Azure platform, and it will provide you the complete ecosystem to create the model, to monitor the graphs, and to take the actions, right? And then the data can be shown through the ADT graph, basically as your digital twin graph. You can build your business and the functions logic in the Azure functions. So for example, uh, you want to perform some specific activities, because for example, if the data is coming from the multiple sources, and based on your business logic, you want to build the different graph systems, and you want to apply some business logic that the data should be segregated in this way, and it should report a specific view of the entire ecosystem. You can do that using the Azure function. That is where you will see here, right? And the graphs will be shown from the Azure Digital Twin graph, and another set of data will be routed to the event route. It could be event grade and service bus kind of things, and then you can take this digital twin and you can build the web API, because this is the backend ecosystem. But when you will talk about your customers, right, they will not understand. For example, as I said, there is a startup in Bangalore who provides, basically, which provides the milk and which is coming from the complete organic ecosystem. So what do they generally do? They provide the app, and through the app you can monitor that what kind of chaff the cows have eaten, what kind of the grass and other things, what kind of water they are drinking. So you can track everything, each and everything from end to end, because that is how they are assuring the quality to you. And then at the end of the day, it is going to be based on the user. You can either develop a web UI or the mobile app, which through that they can visualize, you can basically provide the user experience, right? Now, what is happening when the data is coming from this event route? Why we are getting this data here? Basically, we want to take some action, and the action could be that, for example, if we need to maintain the temperature in the distribution unit or in the storage unit, right? You may need to trigger some actions. And for example, if you have a cooling systems in place and you have some backup cooling system, for example, if one of the cooling system fails, you want to turn another backup cooling system. So as soon as the one system is going to fail and the temperature is going up and down based on the agreed or required numbers, you can trigger an action which can go through the Azure functions to the Azure IoT Edge runtime, and which will again go back to the end system and will trigger the action to restart or run the backup cooling systems in the environment to make sure the temperature is always maintained. So those kind of actions. So basically, this is not one way. You can also trigger lots of actions uh, based on your requirement. And then you will see there is some data is going to the time series inside, right? You can have a time scale kind of a database, which is third party, and many other ways. There are many third parties databases available which you can use, right? And you can get the time series inside where you can say, okay, when the temperature goes low or when the temperature goes high, what kind of challenges and implications it is creating for the entire environment, right? So you can monitor, you can compare the two time series data, and you can generate the value. You can predict that, okay, if we change the temperature, how is it going to behave? Basically, when you are predicting the future, when you are developing the next level of system for your customers and for your organizations, you can use the time series data well to make sure that you have enough information available which can feed back into the new system and it can make it more robust. And again, you can have a web app to visualize this data, and you can provide this data and reporting through the web API UI and the mobile apps. And so this is a very high level architecture which I'm talking about, and this is all backed up by the Azure ADF data lake storage, which you require, and many other, the compute which you require from the Azure side. Machine learning you can do using the Azure ML, and then you can use the Power BI for all kind of reporting purposes, right? So this is how the entire Microsoft Azure ecosystem works. The benefits using the Microsoft Azure ecosystem, that this is well connected with your existing IT environment already and in place, right? And it provides end-to-end solution and end-to-end technologies to achieve more through your digital twin. So let me go to the next slide, which talks about how can you build the models with the DTDL language, right? So this is DTDL is a digital twin definition language, as I said earlier. DTDL is based on the widely used JSON script language. It's pretty simple and straightforward to build your models. So you know that everyone is using the IoT systems, IT/OT technologies in their environment, but as if you when you will go and start using the digital twin, the first thing first, once your platform is ready, you need to build the models. And the building of the model is coming from the concept that what is your business requirement, what kind of ecosystem you want to drive through this kind of digital twin model, right? The model defines the characteristics of a real world object within the DTDL. The top level type is an interface. Basically, everything will fall under that. All the properties will fall under the interface, is the specific interface. This is just an example, which you can see, for example, if we have built interface type and for the, you know, thermostat, right? And for one of the digital factory, this is your interface. So this is going to be on the top level object, and then everything, all the properties will be built underneath it, right? This encapsulates the entire model, and the rest of the model is defined within the interface. So what are the four main parts of the DTL language are? Basically, how can you define these objects, right? So you have properties. The properties basically defines its name and what type of data it contains. So here you will see as an example where we are saying, so for example, this example is not covering that all the part of the DTDL model, but it is covering few. For example, let me tell you, if you look here, right, you will see the type is property, the name is switch, right? Or you can have the property which is monitoring your temperature. I was just giving the example. So this is how, and the unit in which you want to monitor the temperature is degree Celsius. So you can define the property that, okay, if the temperature should be in the so and so degree Celsius, and this is one of the property about to set the temperature, um, and the defined actions, right? And then there is the next thing is called telemetry. In the telemetry, what you're going to do that is most often envisioned as a continuous stream of values such as temperature, pressure, location, or altitudes, right? So these kind of telemetries, if you want to capture, you can define the telemetries there. Components is a third main part of it, where you define the model defines that are defined elsewhere, but that are included within the current model by reference. So for example, as I said, right, you can take only a supply chain use case and you can build your model, right? And so that is going to be one model where you will just look into the supply chain, but you can build another model for the I would say treatment of the milk, right? And the treatment of the milk could be another model, and then you can provide the reference in the component, and you can link it. Relationship is a link to any other digital twin models. If you have multiple model, you can define the relationship between them so that you can see them together. So here in this code, right, you can see some of the properties. So for example, we have a properties, and then we are using display name. We are talking about if what happens if the property is basically if some unit is offline or online, right? So we have defined those values here. So a model can have 0, 1, or many of each type of these parts. So basically, these are the main parts of the DTDL, but you can define as you will keep defining your properties, telemetry, components, relationship. It could be one or it could be none. For example, you can only drive the entire digital twin model based on the property and the relationship. But if you want, you can use all of these components. You can use one of the components, or you can use more than one. So before, because we are reaching at the end, right? And as I said, I have not shown you the demo, but what I have given you the learning resources. The first learning resources is going to provide you the industry view using the digital twin consortium, where you can go and learn about what level of work is going on in this particular field. And this is very, very new and maturing. It will take time to mature, right? So this is still evolving. So please have a look, try to connect yourself with this. And the second one is Microsoft documentation, that the basics and each and everything of the digital twin in the Azure space and how it is evolving. You can see more progress there. The third one is build an Azure digital twin graph for a chocolate factory production line. So I think this is one of the example which I'm sharing the link. So for example, if you are interested in exploring this more, you can use this link and it will provide you the step-by-step process Even though you are not aware about the digital twin, you are not aware about some of the Azure technologies, you can still use this link and try to develop your model for a chocolate factory production line, right? So if any unit goes down, what happens, and many other things will be covered into this. It is going to be completely end to end. And the main important thing is part of the ADT is the Explorer, right? How can you see the digital model, the live example of the real world ecosystem in the digital technology? You can go and learn more about the Explorer. And the final thing, which is very important, because if you want to use this thing in the real world, you need to be very careful that you are aware about the limitations which are there in the Azure at this moment for the digital twin. It is keep evolving, and the things will be much mature in future, but still you can use this link, you can look at the service limits so that you can define and decide well either Azure Digital Twin is the right platform to you at this moment or not, or you can integrate with many other solutions to achieve your outcomes. So with that, I would like to say thank you to all of you.